Hello everyone, welcome back. So in last video, if you remember, we have seen the pods and service, right? Like how exactly we can deploy the pod if we gonna do it via command line. So we have a command called kubectl run, and you can define the pod name and the image from where you want to run your pod. Apart from that, we have gone ahead and we have seen that if we need to do it via something called definition file, which is in YAML syntax, then how you can define it. What are all four sections, which is very important for a YAML file to define any of the resource definition, right? It was API version, kind, metadata, and spec. Yeah, obviously each field, right? Each section will have their subsections, but that we will cover the moment we deep dive into that particular advanced topic, right? But just to start with the YAML file definition, I think it is more than enough to do this, right? And if you want to discuss about or if you want to learn more about the replica set, right? So in this video, we will see that what is replica set and how you can uh, deploy a replica set, right, using a definition file. Because from now onwards, what we will do is we will deploy everything using a pod definition file. Okay, so let me go back to our notes. So here you can see what is replica set is. Replica set is nothing like maintain the number of desired pod, right? Let me explain you. Let's see, this is your pod, right? One, two, three, four, right? You want a four pod, right? But now the question is why you need four pod, right? If we can run our application in a single pod or in a single container, right? Why we need a additional pod, right? This is just to maintain the high availability, right? Like you want your application to be performed very well, right? The performance will be good, and the traffic will be diverted between these ports, right? Who all does that we will see in networking part, but as of now, let's understand this load balancing, like this balancing or maybe distributing the traffic between these ports is done by the service. Okay, so that is the reason like we need to, right? But how come a replica set help us to like keep the number of ports whatever we want, right? Yeah, that's the beauty, right? That's the magic of the replica set, right? Because in replica set we are explicitly going to define I need a 5 replica of my pod, right? So now Kubernetes will take care that every time a 5 nodes should be running, right? It must be running. Otherwise, it can because that's the purpose, right? It must match the current and the desired state, right? So let's come to our nodes and we'll see in actions. So this is the replica set, right, which we have already seen. And this is the YAML file, right? Let me explain that YAML file and then we will run it, right? So what we have done is this is the apps v1 API version is for replica set. Then the kind is the replica set. How you come to know that what is the API version? So what you can do is you can run this command kubectl explain replica set, right, which will give you that okay it is sitting under it, right? You can see that it is sitting under group is called app and the version is v1, so we need to say this app one. Whereas if we see the pod, so pod you can see it is there is no group, right? It's directly v1. That was the reason like we were using only the v1, but in the replica set we are using the apps v1 because it is sitting under the apps group, right? It is a kind of class for this application is defined by the developer, right? That is why it is apps v1. Obviously the kind will be the replica set, right? And make sure that it is a case sensitive, guys. If you put it in small letter, right, the small r, then mine it will gonna throw you error. So make sure you will check these documentation if you gonna write all this, right? I will give a hack, like if you don't know how to write and all these YAML file, then there will be a way, right? You can ask Kubernetes to itself to write these, but that we will discuss in the exam hack, right? How you can exam tips and tricks, we have this session at the end that we will see there. But as of now, let's focus this. This is the metadata. Metadata is nothing again the information about the replica set. I'm just giving a name of replica set to my replica set is web2-rs, right? And this is the label again I'm putting because replica set must know what is where I need to connect the same logic which we discussed for this service, right? So here I'm saying I need a 3 replica, right? And then what it is doing is it is just matching again the selector, right? It is matching the label called nginx-web2, and then we have the template section. Under template we gonna define our container part because we can put only API version and kind only once, right? Because we cannot put for board again this part. That is why we need to take it as a template. So under template, let's start. Except API and kind, we need to keep both metadata and spec both part. So under metadata, again, the label will be defined. Under the spec, the container will be web2 and the image will be this. Again, the port is this, right? So let's see in action. I am in my master node, okay? And we have this file called replica set, right? As of now, I believe nothing is running. Let's see. Yeah, nothing is running. So let's create kubectl create -f and you can define your file, right? Now, if you see kubectl get all, so it has created many things. You can see that it has created 3 pod. One is already running and 2 are still creating. It has created 1 replica set, right? Desired state is 3, current state is 3, right? That's the main purpose of this replica set, right? Not all, it should be pods, right? So here you can see all pods are up and running. If same way, I would say you can use this RS. RS stands for replica set, right? Use form. Either you can type a full name like this, right? Or you can say just simply say RS, right? So both works. So here you can see out of 3, current is 3, all are 3 ready. Ready means that they are ready to host the application. They are ready to host the traffic, right? Application is up and running inside. That's how this is. So yeah, that's the replica set, right? Let's say if I am gonna delete this, right? One of the pod I'm gonna delete pod. Let's say I'm deleting this one, right? It's deleted, right? You can see it has created one more. You can look at the age, guys. It is running since 83 seconds and it is just spinned up 5 seconds ago. Right? So that's how that replica set, because now replica set no, okay, I have a desired state is 3, but here this was deleted, right? Quickly it has identified, okay, I have a current is 2 which is not matching to the desired state, and that's how I need to spin up one more. And how it come to know, okay, what I need to spin up, it is defined in this specification, this replica, right? Now you can see it is replica 3. So that's how this replica works, right? If you need to expose it, right, so you can expose it. And the same way, like in the last video we have uh, done it, that access via accessing from browser, right? Same way we can do from here, get svc, and you can see it is this one, port is 32370. Let me see if I go here, and it is 32370, right? And I am just hitting, and you can see it is coming on which one. Let me show you. It is coming on this port CVJG2, you can see, right? And if I run this, so for this the port IP is 01, right? Let's refresh. Maybe we'll refresh in a time, or maybe what I will do is I will run it in a different browser and I will show you one thing. Okay, it is coming to the same thing. Okay, we'll keep it for a time being, because it cached that our browser has cached this, right? What I want to show you is like after a moment it will, if you spin or if you try to access it, right? So might be your traffic will go to the another host, right? Because it is service which is different because it has three endpoints now, right? If I'll show you, describe web2 hyphen rs, that's the service name, right? Uh, svc. Now you can see we have three endpoint, right? And each endpoint is running something on port 80. So that's how that we can see that okay, our service will gonna define, right? Now let's delete again one more pod. Let's delete this only where I was. Look at the guys, right? It is one, right? So I'm just gonna do it. Obviously, we need to define the resource type, right? So it has deleted. And if I now see, so it is running one more 5 seconds, right? Earlier it was pointing to 01, 02, 03, right? Now let's see what will happen. You can see 02, 03, 04. The endpoint is automatically got updated, right? I haven't done anything, right? I just deleted the port with the replica set. It know I have that what you call it desired state, right? Come on. 3, right? And it has 2. That means it already 1 is running behind it, automatically spinned up. The moment it spinned up, it came with the new port, obviously with the new IP. Now service automatically got updated. Okay, there is a new port is running with the label called Nginx Web, and that port is having this IP. So I need to update my endpoint, right? How exactly it is happening in behind the scene, right? We will discuss in the networking part, but as of now, you can see the magic, right? It is happening automatically, right? That's how. Now, if I gonna refresh it, let's see, it is coming to MQ something on this, it is running, right? Let's try to refresh here. It is running to J9, right? Which is just now spinned up, right? So now you can see that, right? I'm using the same IP, right? Here also it is a same, right? 27 dot this one, and here also it is doing the same, but it is coming to that each and every, but just to be segregation, right? I have called it as a host name here so that we come to know, okay, it is coming to a different port, right? You can see the IP, right? If again I'll do in this way, maybe it is coming on 4, but let's try to in private window, it is coming to 2 now, right? So you can see that load balancing is happening, right? Automatically it is happening behind the scene. So that's how that replica set works, right? The moment you delete, it knows, okay, it is not matching, it will gonna spin up one more, and the endpoint got updated automatically, right? And one more thing, right, which I maybe I missed in the previous video with the service, right? You can see that this 27 IP, right? Because we are accessing our application on 27, right? Let me show you one more time. This is the master node, right? You can see, and the master node IP is this one, right? Where I am just accessing my application on port this one, where the service was exposed. But if you see kubectl get ports hyphen o wide, where my pod is running, my pod is running on the node 1, right? And node 1 is having a different IP, right? It has a different IP, and that IP is, let me see here, that IP is 26. Okay, I will gonna call on 26 as well, and the port is 32370. Here also you can see we are able to access it, right? Now, how it is possible, right? Because on master node, nothing is running, right? On master node, there is no pod running, right? And still I am able to access it using the master IP 27. Remember, we have discussed the kube proxy, which is a kind of internal network, right? Which is a kind of which will gonna group the entire cluster, right? So using that kube proxy, right? If I'll show you, get ports hyphen n cube hyphen system. So here you can see one of the pod is running kube proxy, right? Which is responsible to forward your traffic. Doesn't matter, right? Because at the end you will not give the multiple IPs to your user, right? You will give only one IP, right? That might be you are mapping that, or you're creating a PTR to multiple record, right? To IPs and maybe that. But at the time, maybe your traffic was forwarded to a different node where that pod was not running, but still you will be able to access it, right? So that's how that kube proxy help is. Okay, so yeah, that was the replica set, guys. So I hope you now come to know why the replica set we need, and why it is happening, right? There is one more thing. Let's say if I need to scale it up, right? So let me do one thing. As of now, you can see kubectl get pods. We have only 3 running, right? Let me go to this, and what I will do is I will create it 5. I will save it. Kubectl replace, not create, because it is already done, right? And I'm gonna replace the current stuff with this. If you see this, now you can see, right? Container create. Why? Because kubectl get rs. You can see desired was 5 and current is 5 because it is already up and running now. That was the reason we are using this one replica set, right? And if you don't want to this, let's say if I am just saying again, make it 3. Okay, and if you do now, you can see, oh, obviously we need to replace first. It is replaced, and now if you see, it got terminated, right? And if you notice the pattern, right, how it got terminated, like which was last come, right, they will be first kicked out. You can see that it got terminated, which was pinned up 38 seconds ago or 31 seconds ago, whatever, right? And we have that now 3 running, which was running almost this time, right? That is one way. And the other way is you can directly do it via command line. Here you can say this is the command if you want to run. What is the command? Kubectl scale. And if you want to do a replica, let's say again I want to 8 replica, right? Which replica set? It is web2-rs. Okay, I think it is replicas. Yeah, it's scaled, and if I go now, you can see it is creating multiple, right? We have 8 and we have 8, right? So that's how that replica set works. The moment you define your current state, it gonna desired state, it gonna compare the current state, and it gonna match whether it's, if it is running less, obviously it will gonna spin up more, and if it is running more, and then it will gonna terminate few, right? Now if you see get ports, right, take it to again 3, and if I do it now, so here you can see it is terminating this 43 seconds, terminating 43 seconds, terminating this, but it keep on running which was already running from so long, right? So that's the pattern it follows. You can see still the age is this one, right? Because it is terminating only which was pinned up recently. All right. So that was the replica set, guys. I hope that was uh, enough to explain, right? And it was understandable why replica set is more important to keep a high availability in your environment, right? Because without replica set, you cannot keep the performance and the high availability in your for your application. All right. So next video, we're gonna see the replica controller and the deployment, right? What is whether basically replica controller is the uh, I would say that the old name for the replica set, right? Because in modern Kubernetes there is no something called replica controller, right? Because it is only the replica set, right? So there is no, forget about that word. There is no replica controller. Obviously the replica controller is a component, but it's not an object in the this YAML file you cannot create. You can create a replica set only. All right. So next video we will see the what is the deployment, and then we'll go further. All right. I hope you liked my content. So I would request please support me and subscribe my channel, share it with the other guys, and let's learn together. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.